some of the recent advances in archaeology mean that they can analyze and derive really sound information, if you like, from the most extraordinary kind of over incredible periods of time. Like, for instance, well, a really one for which they didn't need all that technology and stuff, but all our roundhouses, late Iron Age backwards into the Bronze Age, doorways facing east or southeast. In the same way that the Native American Plains Indians, their doorways of their teepees faced east. Other indications of a world view, you know, in the book that I'm reading at the moment by Francis Pryor called Home, he said he can't, in the end he said it was inescapable. He said he knew he was staring at the cosmology of those people, their world view, and that for some reason, because more important than the weather, because he was looking at roundhouses on the east coast, and he said when that northeasterly blows, this is not a very good idea to have the door facing that way. Yet always east, northeast, towards the sunrise place. And the knowledge that of a people, the suggestion of a people standing there in awe and wonder of the natural universe within which they were part. How they've been able to see the different times when water, for instance, became an essential part of ceremony. Where they, how the interior of the roundhouse was also a landscape that correlated to the worldview of these people. Where the hearth was, where it appeared to be the position of authority, where the children slept, the half of the roundhouse that related to life and the half of the roundhouse that related to death or sleep. They know where the children slept in the roundhouse because they've been able to the chemical analysis of the soil and unbelievable things which they are working out together. And that's, for me, because we introduce into the journey program this notion that we were once a tribal people, that we had once a spiritual tradition that was extant in these islands, and that we considered our land to be sacred. We understood the nature of sacredness in our land, and we didn't all just go to Tibet and India, you know, and imagine that was the only place where this exists. And in fact, those Native Americans, all those years ago, saying to me this amazing line, I think, of, until the day comes that your people once again pray at your rivers and your forests and your mountains, we will always be frightened of you. Meaning, you know, that the eyes we see through, only measuring things in terms of resources, that we see everything as dead and nothing as alive, that there is no sense of sacredness, and the ferocious, pitiless sort of horror, really, of such an intelligent species with no sense of what is sacred. But I would say as well, we can, all this we can recapture. We introduce this, but say, you know, we once had this. It was in our hands. We can reclaim it. We could design our homes. We could first of all find our way back to a sense of the sacredness and the privilege of this life and this earth that we've been given. We could design our homes not only, as it were, to be energy efficient and all the rest of it, but to honour, to a celebration, an acknowledgement of all those aspects of life which we call ordinary, and which are have been a centre of our ancient ceremonies, like food, like water, like fire, community, togetherness, identity, that we can do it also without having to define the other as bad. That we have enough human history to have learnt that we could do this in a different way. And everything, the whole principle of the children's fire, which I speak about, or if we take the Kogi Indians and that lovely, Colombia, and that lovely piece of where they're asked what is the purpose of a human life, and their initial confusion at the question, because it's completely perplexing to them that, why would you ever ask a question, the answer to which is blindingly obvious to the youngest child? Because they teach from the youngest child that it's just a given. And eventually the realization that you actually mean it and that the question is real, and then the sort of rather difficult thought that maybe they're speaking to someone who is mentally defective or in some way impaired in there. And then finally it's just in complete incomprehension, but still thinking that they need to answer, they say the purpose of a human life is to care for all living things. What else? And I've often thought about that. I thought, wow, it's like, if we simply, if the Minister for Education, as it were, spoke to her people and said, I would like you to introduce this principle from the youngest age all the way through onto lifelong learning, university, everything. The purpose of a human life is to care for all living things. Would you mind writing a paper on how you're going to achieve that in your, and of that volcanic sort of implication of what that would do to our whole education system and everything that would then unfold. If that was introduced into our businesses, and the joyful peacefulness that would come to us as a people when we began to realize that that's something as simple as that could encompass everything that we do. All our buildings, how we build our buildings, our food, how we farm, whatever we do, how we educate, work, serving a purpose. There need almost be nothing more more complicated than the honouring of what we have in this life. So what I mean by that, sometimes they were also very confused, well, not the Kogi, but the Native Americans with me, was why is it, do you think, Mac, that your religion seem to place belief at the very centre? You seem to think that belief is a necessary part of a spiritual experience of life. So and then they come out, and it was, I suppose, a view in a North American coastal mountains of California version of this. What do you see? I see hills and trees and valleys and a river and forest, and they comment, you are witnessing creation. Were you to really comprehend what has been set in motion to allow you the privilege of, so far 66 years, 76, whatever it turns out to be, to experience this? If you really absorbed that, you would be on your knees weeping for the privilege of a life on earth. And you know what? You can go and climb that tree. You can swim in that river. You can pluck that apple and you can eat it. You can kiss that man, woman. You can have it all. And you don't have to believe in any of it. It just is. I love that because again, it's a peacefulness. I'm not being asked to believe a story that may or may not be true. I'm not being asked to do anything except accept the truth of this life. And for me, that's a really wonderful, wonderful thing. There's no sense of me being sold something. I don't have to, I can simply be present with my own real life experience. And I like that. So they said, you know, do you really need an intermediary between you and creation? Isn't that a little bit dangerous? They might start informing you what the signs mean, rather than you being with the signs in direct language, direct fluency, direct relationship, in communication with life. And how might a child feel, and a young person educated and raised in a home in this way? Because come back again, you know, the number of people that feel badly about themselves. You know, shouldn't a key fundamental goal of how we raise our young people be that they should feel good about who they are and their diversity and difference and the range of the gifts that they hold? And what a terrible thing to inflict on somebody, the feeling that somehow, you know, they have so little of any value to offer, and why it is so sane to then become extremely angry and wish to punch back on something that has done that.